So the divisions, I the way I read that divisions is by the care of the verse. That's how if you look at the themes or something, how you the way that this is constantly so if we think about each of these headings, our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. We'll probably spend a few minutes on that. Pray. We'll find about how cool it is that you have personality praying on just that. I've always thought of this in an outline of the headings. I think we got it when you said process flows. It's like, think about that, right? He's showing us how to enter into the God out there on the side. What's the intention of your question? We're looking at this report.
If you were to form a simple output as simple as part one, part two, outline it. Is there a natural sense of part one? Because it has a focus that changes or is different than part two. Yeah. What you see here is vision. How would you outline?
I always like this guy.
as well. That word wasn't quite accurate. And so, does anyone know what
Because when you grow up in church, you get the answer to the question of Jesus.
there's probably some nuance to the actual meaning of the word that I'm not to be able to.
Well, I think that's a pretty big difference. Not pretty, he's pretty, he makes things pretty important. He's pretty hard. And you move how
How it's not a word we use. So, modern
No one else can say they own the individuals.
Read that last phrase. That's really good.
recognition.
Holy
Set apart.
Holy is the word we're familiar with. We don't say, not making holy oil. Well, what is holy? That could be one of those words that we brought up in church. Here, he's also going to be.
Christian. Right, that's all. Make it very simple. But there's an aspect of it now and already. That would be the future, right? So you're asking me to come. You can ask both, right? I want you to come take me home, but also I want you to keep it.
About 4 minutes, okay? We'll pull together 4 minutes.
This righteous, because we want, we're wired to want the outcome of the righteous. So is that okay to pray for that? Rule and reign, something here, one here.
That's more than the gospel.
Yeah, because
That's what that's the reason.
solely suddenly you're training all of us to think it's a role of how many parables did Jesus say? God is. It's not every parable is about God. It's about how many God Well, you're speaking temporally, he was speaking spiritually. It's different stuff. But he's using making everybody understand to connect spiritual principles that all the other my mom's dad was just, he often corrected it for he doesn't start by saying, one day, he falls on the wall. It's like, it's
Section one is Lisa, Father, take the time to recognize that you're holding yourself apart. And you're saying, hey, and this third part is forgiveness. I think you're speaking to the recognition of, thank you that you provide, right? The realization of forgiveness is also both giving. Recognition of and I love the daily needs. I take a daily bread. I'm on the white time. God, I don't understand what you're doing. Give me some daily bread. Daily bread.
Is this a temptation to help with your wife? I think bread. It's not a Christian to say, Lord, provide me whatever.
But he still wants us to ask him.
So what word in verse 11 most signifies?
Never mind. Who's the last one just on the line?
Because I'm trusting you to give me right today. No one will take what you need today.
What happened if you gather more than a
So that's over in but also, it's also going to become a conversation of just, I know you know what I need, and I'm asking you to give me just what I need today.
It is not, Lord, please, all happiness or the model prayer, we're at the model prayer. And that's not how I think. I just confess it's not how I think. Always
Trusting myself to say it right.
and that's defensible biblically to a certain extent, but a trust should be an ability to see for future provision. personality. Can I just trust him for this? I think that's a truly. Also, we have our foundation.
Okay, so just to call time out on the discussion, it's great. Anybody get through all the questions? This group did pretty well. I think they had about 3 left. And by the way, they had all the right answers. Little story. Before we get into the scripture and question a little bit together, I was just a lad when Lyndon Johnson was president, but there's a little story that I like. When Lyndon Johnson was president, Bill Moyer was his press secretary. And one day, they were having staff lunch there in D.C., and Bill Moyer was saying grace for the meal. And all of a sudden, the president shouted, "Speak up, Bill! I can't hear a thing!" I've been a little intimidated if I was Mr. Moyer, but he quietly replied, "I wasn't addressing you, Mr. President." I love that little story. It's so important for us to remember who we're approaching, you know, who we're speaking to, who our audience is, who we're listening to, because prayer is listening every bit as much more than it is speaking. We need help. I need help when it comes to prayer. I will confess that if there's an area in my walk with God and my spiritual life that I feel the greatest need to grow in is prayer. It's prayer. So I love spending time with this. And do you not feel after 25, 30 minutes of looking at it and observing it that you have some insights already into the Lord's Prayer that maybe you didn't have when you walked in the room? I hope you do. I hope you do already. It's really something when we allow ourselves to linger at what Jesus is saying. I want to grow in this. I really want to grow from my experience. I think, if I were well, I love that they asked Jesus, teach us to pray. I think that was there are moments where the disciples, yay. And I think that's one of all the things they could ask. Teach us to pray. What a great request. And he honors that request with his prayer. It's been said, and I would agree with this, that the purpose of prayer is not to get man's will done in heaven, but to get God's will done on earth. Prayer is not telling God what we want and then selfishly enjoying it. Prayer is asking God to use us to accomplish what he wants so that his name is glorified, so that his kingdom is strengthened and extended. And I think he wants us to approach him first and foremost with the right attitude, the right relationship. That's what those verses before the Lord's Prayer are about. He's saying, I don't want you to pray like a hypocrite. Okay? I don't want you to pray like the pagans. Who are the hypocrites? Essentially, that's just another euphemism for the very people that the Sermon on the Mount is contrasting true faith, true Christianity, true religion, if you will, with the false religion, the superficial religion of the Pharisees. Okay? They prayed to be seen before men. They liked that they could put on a show. When Jesus knew that for the most part, for most of them inwardly, they were bankrupt. He's saying, I don't want you to pray like the hypocrites. They They love to pray, to be seen. I tell you, they already have the reward. I mean, if that's the word you want, you can have it. But it's fool's gold. I want you to pray first and foremost in a secret place. Not because anybody sees you, but because you understand first and foremost you're coming to me. It's not a sin to pray publicly. Don't misread the point of that. But if my only prayers are public, and I have no personal dialogue with God, then I'm innocent. My motives are off. He tells us not to keep on battling like the pagans. Okay, this is the next group that we're not to be like, not to pray like. And it's interesting that word babbling comes from the Greek word batelegeo. And it's an onomatopoeia, is what it is. And you're like, oh, that sounds kind of, what is an onomatopoeia? I'm trying to remember ninth grade English. Onomatopoeia is when it's a word that's formed to sound like the sound the word is describing. So we have words like boom, crash, bang, meow is a word. But it's the sound it carries. So it's like the sound is the word, right? Rough. I don't know if your dog said rough, but bow wow. I know dogs don't say bow wow. Cuckoo, cuckoo. There's another onomatopoeia right there. We could probably name a bunch of them. Well, this word in the Greek is onomatopoeia. Jesus is saying, and this is really cool, it's actually humor. He's saying, don't keep on blah, 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 like the pagans. All words with no meaning, right? Blah, 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 blah. If we were to translate into our modern lingo, it's sort of how we speak. I think the modern translation would sound something like, well, when you pray, don't just go on and on, blah, 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 like things. So, what was it about the pagans that was just all words with no meaning? Well, the pagans were the Greeks who worshiped their false gods. And in the pagan or Greek way of thinking with their false gods, they had a contractual way of thinking of their relationship with their gods, i.e., I sacrifice to you, so you are bound to grow my crops. And in order to get their attention, they would stack every title they knew or could make up or could think of as they addressed their gods. So it'd be like, pick your God, Zeus, the almighty, Zeus, the powerful, Zeus, the ever-present one, Zeus, they just like go on and on and on, and it's babbling. Of course, they're talking to nobody, right? All the titles they throw on is just more blah, 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 blah. And they're doing that because they think that by their many words, they will get this God's attention and he will be bound contractually to respond to them. Jesus is saying, that's not the way it is with us. Okay? I want intimacy. I want you to come to me as my child. I'm your father. I remember going to Guatemala once and seeing someone bound down before a false god, Maximum, as he was pouring out the best of what he had, which was this corn of this essence that's precious and that costs like weeks worth of wages to be very poor people. He was crying out and yelling at the top of his lungs to this false statue wooden god. And I know enough Spanish to know what he was saying. I'll never forget the scene. He was saying, I sacrifice to you, I pray to you every day, I give you the very best of what I have. I ask you over and over and over and over again. My brother is still sick, he cannot work, he cannot provide for his family, he's dying. Why don't you answer? Why don't you listen? Why don't you heal my brother? Why don't you provide for him? Look at everything I'm doing. Why don't you answer? He was talking to nobody. It was vain, meaningless repetition, sadly from someone who was earnestly seeking God. He's just talking to the wrong God. Jesus said, the word's not impressed. Okay? That happened. Right? So, what is it? How should you pray? Well, it starts with our Father, right? that speaks intimacy. And to the Jewish mind, they could say Father in a formal sense, but they weren't used to thinking of God, Yahweh, as Abba, Father. And this is the intimate relationship that Jesus is inviting us into with his dad, his heavenly Father. Notice it says our Father. Our Father. As you observe the passage, we'll talk in a second about vision, but did you notice something? That there are no singular pronouns? Look at it. What do you see? Our, we, us. Not speaking of God, I'm just speaking of our side of it. Okay? It's not me, it's not I. It is plural, is it not? Okay, did you notice that? All the pronouns on our side of it, of course on God's side too, but all the pronouns on our side are plural. Don't miss that point. That in Jesus' model of prayer, he is teaching us something about the importance of community. I heard that word when you got community. He's teaching us that we are his body, that we are to think as much about our relationship together as we do individually. And we can forget, I think, at least in our modern culture and context, the importance of corporate prayer and our corporate identity as brothers and sisters in Christ. We didn't pray our, we didn't pray us, we didn't pray we. Because as I remember and as I pray corporately, what does that do to self? What does that do to self? Say that again. Yeah. Subjugate me, okay, and maybe also have the kind of perspective that the Lord has. If he gave us this prayer, he wants us to pray our us. Love that. Love that it's corporate. Yeah. Did you see some divisions, or maybe a couple of basic divisions? If you were to outline the Lord's Prayer, so like part 1, part 2, maybe you saw 3-part. In the greatest sense, what might be the 2 big divisions of the Lord's Prayer?
First half is spiritual grace, second half is
Good. Absolutely. Okay. The simplest way that you could divide or outline the Lord's Prayer, undeniably the simplest way would be to say 2 parts. The first part is about God, and the second part is our request. We have 3 prayers of God, we have 3 prayers of us. So let's look at that. Our Father in heaven, okay, hallowed or holy. There's 3 prayers here. May your name be holy. May your name be hallowed. What does that mean? Does it mean to hallow or to make his name holy? Just in the simplest sense. That's holy is one of those Christianese words that we can kind of hear and sing and drum and assume that everybody knows what that means. But it's helpful to be reminded or to learn in the simple sense what hallowed or holy means. Anybody know? Set apart. Yeah. Set apart. And specifically set apart from, as y'all said over here, the profane, which is essentially anything and everyone tainted by sin. That he is holy, he is sinless, he is perfect. He is brilliant in perfection. And his name is untarnished and unstained. He has a 100% perfect name and reputation that is set apart from everything that is profane. So I want to live in such a way that his name, that I don't profane his name. And we, as his people, want to worship and we want to live and love in such a way that we are making holy the name of God and not profaning it. Yeah. hallowed be your name, your kingdom come. This is the second thing, okay? Your kingdom come. And very simply, is that just a future request? Or, hey, someday may your kingdom come? Are we praying only for him to return and take us home? You know? Is it okay to pray that? Absolutely. Yeah. I want that with all my heart. Right now. Be great. Yeah. Okay. But what about now? Is his kingdom in some sense now? In some way. How's that? How's that? Okay, to be with us. Good. But what does the word kingdom connote? Yeah. Rule. Love. Ruler. Yeah, excellent. So when we say your kingdom come, we are essentially praying that he would rule and reign for eternity and right now, first and foremost, in my heart, in my mind, in my family, in my city, okay, in our country, by extension, the world. Lord, would you rule and reign in my heart, in my life, in my city? Would you have first place? Would you be glorified now? We're not just praying future kingdom. Remember in the parables, how many times did Jesus preface the parable by saying, the kingdom of heaven is like? Okay? He's saying, you want to know where you can see the kingdom among you, my kingdom, and then he would teach a parable using illustrations that everybody understood to connect spiritual truths that those with ears can hear could understand. So your kingdom come, your will be done, not my will. Okay? And there's humility in that prayer. The Lord knows that if there's one clash that we're about daily, it's the clash of wills. I mean, every day I'm fighting that battle. My will, his will. And sanctification, another 50-cent Christian word, simply means grow to be more and more like Jesus in his life. To think like he would think, to love like he would love, to do what he would do, and less like me, my flesh, my natural stuff. Okay? So if I'm praying, your will be done, then I'm yielding my will to his. Not my will, but yours. Same prayer Jesus prayed in the garden. Your will be done. So three great things. Great. On earth as in heaven. There you see it's both in here and now. Then the transition goes to God. Okay? So there were three prayers of God, and there are three prayers of us. And these three prayers actually sum up everything we need to really be concerned with when you think about it. Because he's saying, give us today our daily bread, forgive us, lead us not into temptation. Break down a little. Give us today our daily bread. One question there said, what does that teach you about trust? Anything? You learn a little bit about trust from Jesus in that one verse? Is there a word there in particular that really speaks to trust? I know it does to me. Daily, yeah, exactly. What does verse 11 mirror from the Old Testament? Man, that's right. Okay. And if you remember the Old Testament story of the Israelites in the wilderness, on the way to the promised land, in the middle of the desert, in the middle of nowhere, there's no In-N-Out burger, okay? There's no Rooney's, okay? It's going to take a miracle for them to find food. They're in the desert. So God sends bread from heaven. This is like incredible. And what did he tell them, those Israelites, about going and gathering the bread? Say that louder.
Just what you need for that.
That's right. Just what you need for the day. What happened if they hoarded more than what they needed for the day? Yeah, it made them sick. Okay? Huge spiritual lesson there. That's as valid today as it was then. That we need to be recognizing our daily dependence upon the Lord. He knows what you and I need. He knows. And he cares. And he knows how to provide for me way better than I know how to provide for me. Can I trust him for today? Notice the Lord's Prayer does not say, and please fatten up my 401k. Okay. It doesn't say that. Now, is it okay to plan for the future? Yes, absolutely. Okay. But should my trust be in my ability to scheme for my future security by my, plans? And, no. My trust needs to be in the Lord to supply my daily needs. I love that. So much trust. Forgive us our debt, as we have also forgiven our debtors. Boy, this Lord's Prayer has so much to say about forgiveness. And that's assumptive, isn't it? You could restate that. As I am forgiving those who wronged me, Lord, forgive me for wronging me. It's very clear that an unforgiving spirit sets us against God. The verses go on to say that for us to forgive, God takes that so seriously. He really does. Remember, as we ask Him to forgive us, that we in turn need to be forgiving others. That's the mindset. We don't take His grace or forgiveness for granted. And then what does He say? Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. And I put for years as the kingdom, power, and glory forever, amen, in brackets, because that phrase actually isn't a part of the earliest manuscript. It was added to some later manuscripts, but the early manuscripts don't have that phrase. It doesn't mean it's a bad phrase. It just means that it's parenthetical to later manuscripts. So a question here: if the Lord doesn't tempt us, we know that from Scripture. We know that from James 1:13. Don't make me say we're tempted. The Lord tempted us because God doesn't tempt; He doesn't tempt us. So why would Jesus tell us to pray, lead us not into temptation? Was that cause anybody to do this? It didn't need.
Well, we were talking about, Christ was led into temptation. He was ordered there was a temptation in the wilderness, and when he conquered that, he was stronger having gone through it. God had his back the whole time. So, in that experience of this, that we were in your relationship with God, and to be able to relate to the people who are
Absolutely. I think you can't it's important. This is a classic case of don't pull one phrase out of context. You have to at least look at the second half of the verse, but deliver us from the evil one. It's a prayer for deliverance. Okay. First and foremost. And I don't need His help to be led into temptation. I can find it on my own just fine. Okay. Anybody need God's help to be led into temptation? I don't think any of us do. Right? Okay. Yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. It's a recognition of we desperately need His deliverance. What does Scripture say in Corinthians? No temptation has overtaken you, but such as is common to man. In other words, when you're tempted, you can't say, God, why me? Nobody else has to deal with this. No temptation has overtaken you, but such as is common to man. Whatever you're going through, believe me, hundreds of thousands of men, millions have been through it before. Okay? So the verse goes on to say, but God is faithful, who will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able, but with the temptation will provide the way of escape also, that you may be able to endure it. Such a precious word from Scripture. It's the way of escape. It's the deliverance from the evil one. And we're not going to use it unless we're looking for it, unless we're asking God, Lord, delivery. Delivery. Okay? So it's like, if you look at that in red, that's physical, right? You look at forgiveness, spiritual, and you look at temptation, moral, that's pretty comprehensive, those three requests. That's why I said that's an example. It's a model of prayer. Not so much the specific word, the attitude, the relationship we come to Christ with, and then what these words represent. It's okay to pray this prayer. It's good to pray this prayer, but not in a mechanical, rote sense. First time I remember hearing this prayer, maybe two, was the Presbyterian church I grew up in, and every Sunday there was a part of the service where the whole congregation jumped almost like monks. And I'm in fourth grade, so I understand I have kids and everything. But it was like, oh, brother, you are in heaven, that's what I was hearing. And it was the Lord's Prayer, but it was kind of like this thing we did every Sunday. And it can become right. Not just that one, by the way. It's not the Lord's Prayer where I can stumble into being mechanical. It's grace. It's great. I have to really think about praying before I resist. Dear Lord, thank you for the food. And bless our kids. I'm hungry and I want to eat, so it's like, sometimes I sing that I found myself, I don't know if I'll name one of them, but I found myself saying grace and then after going, like, I almost want to go, wait, time out, I did it wrong. I need to do it better. That wasn't a prayer. That was, God, I'm doing this so I can eat. Now, like sincere Lord, thank you for providing for it. We just recognize, as we're joining this, that there's people in the world that don't have a meal like this, and we don't deserve it, but you provide. Thank you, God, so much. Bless those who don't have. And may we generously share from our abundance with those who don't have. We're so blessed, we're so thankful to you for your goodness, for your love. Pray that I will desire you more than I desire this barbecue. In Jesus' name, amen. I mean, that's the sincere prayer, right? Not the little prayer. Well, time's kind of flown. But this is good. And there's so much more that could be said. I think anytime we get into the Word, we don't get but we get deeper, right? That's always my desire. And it's fun to do that with you guys. It's fun for us to do it together. I pray that each one of us experiences the Lord more and more personally in prayer. That's where we meet. That's where real relationship is cultivated. And I don't think we can spend enough time individually and corporately doing that. I heard lots of Bible studies on prayer growing up, but I didn't spend enough time just with God in prayer. I've been trying to do that a lot more. Listening more than I speak, because we live busy lives, right? We do. It's hard to get here because of our business. Into this room. And so we have busy lives. We're kind of used to going like this. And then what happens? Our prayer becomes busyness that we simply direct at God. And then we say amen, and then we redirect our busyness toward God. What He wants is for us to be still. To stop. To not just point our busyness at Him, but to be still and know that's a relationship with Him. To be still and to know. Father God, may we grow individually and corporately in prayer. May I grow in prayer. I pray that for myself, and I think I speak for my others as well. May we not battle. May we not try and impress you with words. Maybe sometimes fewer words to draw near to you. Thank you for this model prayer. May we go deeper in thanks. Thanks and praise the Lord. Amen. And then Ted, final word.
Everyone, don't forget about Friday, bring your kids. Thanks, Robert, for mentioning that. And have a great week.
God bless.
What is new?
Sure, for really change. This is
I thought I saw you Sunday morning. I went over to already live. There's this guy. There's this girl that looked like your sister. They must have come to the early services. Right? And then when I get about this far from him, I realize,